All right, y'all, part 4 on Elon Musk live at the border, Ukraine on the balance, RFK on the third party, and Trump's family and all those things. All right, we're going to be getting into Trump's family on this one. Part 3, we had some rabbit trails, so I stopped it in because of time or whatever. So we'll just go over some family stuff here so people understand a little bit of the reflection and his connections or whatever, because his family, he's connected to a Mary and the Annie with an E, and the Annie is the anti with the E for the electronic, and the Mac Leod, that is the Mac, and the Leon for the Elon and such. She's connecting one part of that with Elon and Trump, so we could follow her for that. And then Fred Trump, he died in 1999. All right, so that's the 666 reverse, and he's connected to the real, which is your reals that you take, and that's the E state for the electronic state. That's the Elon for that new foundation being set up to cool the beast in, to give them grass to eat. And that's why you have the bud developing for the grass and all those things, because they're going to give the beast some psychedelic shit, so they can't understand what's going on, all right? Because they're down in the low place and they can't get to the high place, and the smoke is filling the air and they're getting all wheezy and all this other shit, all right? And that wheezy is for the 28, like, we're going to go follow him then. Anyway, so he is tied to U.S. investigated by the U.S. Senate Committee for Profiteering in 1954. This is tied to the 45 reverse, where Trump is going to be accused, or for that, where he was accused for that steal or whatever, for profiteering on keeping the election or whatever. But this is going to be kind of reversed with his trials coming for that steal or whatever, because I can see how they can prove the election was stolen or whatever, but Kamala doesn't want to give up her inheritance, and she is given basically 3 days to get out, or the militia and whatever's going to come in and take care of her. And as that happens, she's going to call in the army or ISIS or whoever, however they're going to handle it, okay? She's connected to the iPet goat. When the Osama bin Laden comes in and she's waving the hands, this is part of that Trojan horse that's already been set. She's doing a red flag wave and opening things up, and this is part of that Ukraine and adding to the balance, and her, it's all there, folks, okay? The bullets, they're going to be added to the balance. The gunpowder, the powder, that's part of the powder horn. The powder horn is part of that little horn. The powder is part of the makeup, and the powder is part of the POW and the missing in action they've been talking about, and all those things, okay? So, mentions the more than 27,000 apartments that can access to the 27 for the 77. And then connects to the Fair Housing Act. That's going to be connected to the housing crash and all these things that's coming into how they're going to be giving houses to people or the homeless or whatever. What I see kind of in the future is you're only going to be allowed, you're not going to own your homes, first off, for the most part. But even if you were allowed to own a home, you're only going to be allowed to own one. All right? But it's just, it doesn't make sense to own your home. All right? Either ways, and being a renter is part of those tent dwellers, because they just can go from place to place. They're not stuck down. If shit starts happening, they can just leave their 6-month lease or year lease or a couple months or whatever's left on lease. It's not a big deal, all right? And this is kind of how, like, Jesus led his life or whatever, all right? So then Frederick Trump, that's the grandparent. The grandparent is also Elizabeth Christ Trump. So you got the Mary Annie, and the Christ. All right. And the MacLeod, the MacLeod is part of that cloud, for that Mac cloud, for that iCloud, the Apple iCloud. So her story would also connect to those types of things. And then he's connected to 1885. The 88 is connected to the Trump. Trump equals 88. And it's connected to the time machine and Elvis being 88 if he was alive this year, and all connects to the Back to the Future, all that stuff. And then Tesla, he added the DeLorean doors to the Teslas. And all these things are all showing different stuff to you. Okay, so you connect these dots. All right, because the television and the vision and all the words of God, which is all the words of man, we can all live by, and we can see these things coming. All right. They are connected to the Germans. I told you in the other videos, which connects us to the Nazi Party and where they're coming in to restructure America, and how they're doing a test on the old and to gather up the old and to do whatever. And then as they do that, they're going to bring in the new. So the Frederick Trump at 16, that's the 1/6 that Trump started being president. He angelicized. All right, the angelicize is for the angel and size. He went to jail for the lower parts of earth, and we saw the lake of fire breaking open. The burning men were burning. They needed to be doused with water for days, and they got covered with mud for the dumb, and that for that music. Just different things. That music, the frequencies that are coming. That stuff is tied to making us ill and whatever else, or has the ability to. Okay, we can't. There's a time and season for all that stuff. Haven't you noticed that people who listen to whatever kind of music, they're like whatever type of people? Okay, usually depressed or whatever thing going on, or they got a bunch of issues you don't need to hear about. That's that grievous sin. I got all these problems. You ain't got one damn problem. The problem is you're listening to everybody and you're comparing yourself and you're trying to be something you're not. And you just need to accept who you are and be who you are. Easy. So simple if you find it. All right? So Frederick Trump, he's the Fred, dear Rick. That's the rich. And then the red is for the party and for the deer that's being hunted right now for that live game. And that deer is for that dawn ear and all those different things, okay? And that day ER, they're trying to gather up the deer so they can get those militants going. They're against the millennials and all these other things. So there's kind of been a training. Basically what's been going on is the AI, the gaming systems, they've basically been training a generation of young people, Generation X or younger, all right? They've been training them for warfare. To do in the mind is to do in the body. So they basically been training this world army to go to war, and it's a test of the guerrilla warfare, that go real law, that Kamala, it's real. She's been given, y'all got to get out. All right. The Don is a patient man. The Lord is a patient man. He's giving you time. But the question is, are you even stopping on the videos to listen? Or are you reading the posts from the apostles, the apostels, telling you that God's here? And the 11s are here. The L-evens. 47. Agenda 47. Agenda. For the floor, for the cast down to the Satan. So Frederick Trump, he's connected to a masked fortune by the hotel Ben-Net. The Ben-Net is the sun and net, and it's got the ETT at the end for the Robin Netta, and it's connected to the Philip Christ, was descended from the Johannes Christ, and those are connected to 1626 and 1688, which is the 88 and 8, or 1688 and 89, which is connected to coming up, and the 26 for 2026. And then I'm almost out of battery, so I'm gonna have to stop this soon. The heart tongue. That's the heart and the tongue speaking out, and that's where the mark in the right hand for that brand done. He said that they're hurting my brand. They're telling you right there, dude. And he's got that T, the T for the cross, for the iniquity. And so you got Marianne Trump Barry, born in 37 to 2027 and 2029. That's connecting us to the 37 for the 777. Those are the times of now with the jackpot and the money and such. And then the 2017 is connected to 26 and 27, 28, and the 2019 is connected to the 27 or 28, 29, and 30. Just as a simple math thing. Those can break down a little more, but just trying to keep this condensed. And then the Fred D. Christ is the Fred Trump Jr., 38 to 81. He's connected to the 811, the 911, the 38 for the 888, for the 88 when from Elvis being 88 to Trump being 88, which is like 2036 or something like that or whatever. Anyways, it's that time span, and I talked about this in the other videos, bringing all those together. But and then Robert Trump, the Rob, the Still, he's 1948 to 2020, so that 48 and the 2020, the 228 for the 2028, and the 48 for the 48th president, and all those things, okay? So let's get into the harlot riding the beast real quick. I should do another thing on this just to have longer time on it. We'll just do some more Trump stuff for one more second. You got John W. Walter, the Waltier, the 23 Alt ER, or the tier or whatever. That's 1934 to 2018. All right, the 2018. That 18 is now for actually October, because we're in those teen cycles, and the teens are messing around for the primary and that virgin birth and those types of things, and the 144 virgins, and that's the virgins. And anyways, y'all, so that was part of the all county building supply and maintenance, and we got the trials coming now, and he's connected to Trump Grew, whatever, how you say his name, and Robert Trump, and the Mary Annie Trump, Barry for Barry Soetoro, which is Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, whatever they got coming for their secret sauce or whatever. So we can just keep going with these things, but I was just trying to do a little bit of a different video here, tying in some of his reflections and such. Melania is the millennium. The Baron is the Baron. All these little things will connect us to different things. And then Eric Trump for the Eric part for the middle. And then you got Tiffany Trump for the cross. If Fanny for the trials, because I can see her being Trump's lawyer, or Trump's going to represent himself in his trials and such coming up. But we're going to end it here because we're out of battery and time.